Hello everybody, thank you for joining me. I wanted to show you how my avocados are doing in all this summer heat, because unlike these bananas, which just love sun and heat, young baby avocado trees can be kind of tricky. Because if you think about it, how does a baby avocado tree develop in the wild? Well, the fruit falls from the mother tree, maybe a little bit like this one here, and it'll be shaded by the canopy of that mother tree and sit in the ground and develop its own root system. Just like these, I throw seeds in here, a little bit of water, it gets shade from the house, and they grow. Now in direct sun, it's very different and can be very difficult. And that's what I want to show you, because if you live inland like me and you deal with the inland heat, well, again, unlike these bananas, which have no stress and are just taking off, avocados, on the other hand, do. Take a look at these and the sun damage. And this is to give you hope that it can be done. Here's a Mexicola here, and you can see it's got sun damage. Not too bad, a little bit of bark burn here, which I'm covering and painting with Surround mixed with water. But look, all the branches are green. It's not the best situation, but it's gonna survive. And in fact, what I may do is just cut it here again and let it grow back, so that when it does grow, it doesn't have to deal with that injury. But more than likely, I'll just leave it because it's going to be fine. Mexicola is a tough tree. And let me show you this one here. This is a Puebla. And this one dropped all its leaves when I planted it, even though the root ball was perfectly intact. It's getting adjusted and acclimated, and it's doing very well in the high heat. I did cut it back. It was probably 8 feet tall. Now it's down to 6 or about 5.5 feet tall. You can see there. But I'm glad, because when I did that, it started leafing out. And you can see it's gonna be fine. This survived some of the hottest temperatures we've had this summer. And it's got surround, it's got protection. But this summer, although I recommend it, I didn't use any umbrellas, because usually when it gets over 100, like 105, 106, 110, I will use umbrellas for those days. I don't use umbrellas all the time, just the days that it's needed. I'm realizing with heat stress, a lot of it is management. You have to pay attention every day to the tree's needs. Use an umbrella, use shade cloth, use whatever you need to get you over those summer temperatures. Now this one is getting some protection from my wife's tomatoes, and this is the bacon avocado tree, and it's also short, and you can see it gets some shade from the garage, so this one has it a little less stressful. This is my NorCal collection, bacon, Puebla, and Mexicola, because you could find these trees in old neighborhoods and areas in Northern California. And for us, these three in Northern California produce every year. I'm particularly excited about the Puebla because that came up with Schmidt from Mexico, who also brought up Fuerte. One was number 13, one was number 15. And I haven't tried one. And it has an interesting season from October to March, as I understand. So a great time of year to have an excellent avocado. And in Africa, they use the seeds as a rootstock. So I'm really looking forward to that one. I mean, that's kind of what I'm about, is variety, especially rare avocados. Let me show you this one over here uh, to finish up what I'm saying about heat stress. Is it can be a challenge. I have one here that I was given. Thank you, Gustavo. And it was a reed, and it was twice the size, but I let it sit in the ground for a month. The roots extended, but it wasn't leafing out, so I cut it. I cut it in half because it had a lot of burn. And let me remove this. And but let me show you what I got here. I got the cardboard covering the trunk because you know why? This is perfect. The roots can extend into the warm soil and the tree will take off. Let me remove it. It's not too hot today. You can see the trunk is still green. And it's gonna be fine. Unfortunately, right around here, it was all burned. And it was trying to leaf out. The leaves just stayed tiny. The tree was struggling, so I'm giving it a new chance. I got rid of the injury, and it's gonna be fine. In fact, I will do an update. This is a perfect spot for a reed. Reed is a nice narrow tree. It'll shoot up here and it won't. If it gets tall, I don't have to worry about it taking out the roofs. So that's the perfect spot. I had another tree there. I had a fuerte tree, but you know what? My yard's not big, and I just realized, you know what? This is not gonna work because I've seen fuertes and they'll take over this whole yard. And this is another one I want to show you and thank my friends Franco and JP. And what I want to say about this one is originally it was put together, grafted in Southern California, in the LA area. And then my friend brought it up to the Sacramento area where he took budwood from it and grafted to his other trees. So he didn't need it anymore. And I picked it up, and this is the Santa Clara Gold. And I really wanted one of these in my yard. They're so hard to find. Everyone wants one. I visited the mother tree where all the signwood's coming from. It's an amazing tree, amazing fruit, amazing production, big size fruit, which everyone enjoys. It ticks all the boxes. And they started getting ready in March all the way to the summer. It's a great season. And it's particularly one I wanted because it's a local variety, and I'm all about finding those local varieties because I find it's just like a fish to water. If you can find a local tree, you know it's a reliable tree, and who doesn't want a reliable tree? And I'm sure you're going to see more of these because this tree is very vigorous. Speaking of a vigorous tree, this one's doubled for me, and this is the Gwen, Gwen, developed by the University of California. Look, it's just putting out all this growth. Look at that. Look at this branch right here. Just 4 little branches. This had fruitlets even, and I had to remove them because it's not ready. I wait for the tree to be bigger than me, and then I'll let it fruit. But the Gwen and the Gem, you have to be careful. They will just start pumping out fruit very small. Another local variety that people want, the Bay Giant. From the bay, and the fruit are giant. It's a nice round fruit, and it's I'm told it tastes a lot like a Hass avocado, so it's a big Guatemalan type. And I've also visited the mother tree and the owners, and it's just amazing. It's a big tree that the owner, a lady, planted from a seed from a tree her friend had, and she got this wonderful tree that produces every year in the San Francisco East Bay. So again, that's one that I wanted to have, and I want to add another graft to it called Oaklando, which is another tree I visit in Oakland, which has amazing fruit that reminds me of a holiday. What's interesting is this tree actually was stressing, and it should be bigger, but what happened is the soil around here is very clay in this one little area, very clay. So I had to break up the clay, I put in gypsum, and I cut the water in half. I don't water half as much as I did. I cut back on the watering on a lot of my trees. After my friend Sue, who's a California rare fruit grower, told me that she focuses on the minimal amount of water. And that's what I try to do now, because if you spend time with the trees and manage them, you will know when it needs water, so don't flood. And I say that because I have some bad news, but I'm all about sharing, and I want to show you my mistakes so you don't make them. This here is the same spot and the same tree that was here. It is a Pinkerton. But guess what? I had a Pinkerton here. It got waterlogged. I was watering it a lot. There was a lot of clay. And then one day, boom, it went out. And it was a beautiful tree with lots of fruit, but it's been replaced. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna come back. Don't look back. This only happens with avocados, it seems. Avocados, all of a sudden you do a few things wrong and they just go. And that's okay, you don't look back. It's the journey. And it's gonna be fine. This is one of my favorite tasting avocados, especially in June. And I got another one here next to it, and it seems to enjoy the shade and doing really well. This gets partial shade from the house. I've tried these in full sun and they've got fried. This is the Carmen avocado. Produces a heavy crop, and to me they basically taste like Hass avocados. But I like them because they are more productive, and the tree is smaller than a Hass. So who would not want that? And over here, I got one people have been asking about and wondering about if you can grow this in Northern California. This is the Charwil avocado tree, and guess what? It's doubled in size this season. I picked this up from Hernandez Nursery in Fresno, which I mentioned because it has dealt with heat, the Fresno heat. Even though it had a shade cloth, it is somewhat more acclimated than if I'd got it from someplace that's a lot colder than where I live. If I got this from, say, San Francisco from a nursery, it probably would have had extreme shock. So in which case I would have kept it in a pot and in the shade for maybe the first year or two, and then I would have slowly acclimated this. And I can tell you, this one actually did get burned back when I first got it, but it's bouncing back now. So it's acclimated and it gets some shade protection from the house. And this is another one that's similar in flavor, I'm told. I haven't tried one. This is the Edrenal, and this one's been here for a long time actually, but it's very slow growing. But I'm told if you taste a perfect Edrenal, it tastes like nothing else. And I think Charwil, it seems to have some hints of Fuerte to my taste buds. I'm told that Edrenal does too, and that it's a very fine flavors, very fine, buttery avocados. And they also have intense flavors. At least the Charwil I know does. I haven't tried the Edrenal, but I'm told if you get a perfect one, oh boy. And speaking of perfect, this is one by many is considered a perfect tree. This is the Gem from UCR, and it is capital GEM. The tree stays compact. It fruits regularly and consistently, and I'm impressed with the tree because it just keeps leafing out like the Gwen, which is its mother. It's just a very good tree. And speaking of another good tree from UCR, my beast of burden, the one I rely on, And that is this guy, the lamb avocado. And look, you could see next year's fruit. You can see next year's fruit there. You can see last year's crop there. And you can see a whole bunch of fruitlets in here. Let me zoom in. I'm showing you this one to let you know, look, it's all possible. It can be done. Your trees can get through the heat stress. Obviously this one is protected by the fence and the house. So that's the thing though. You have to figure out how to get your avocados through the high heat, and then you'll be good to go. And then you'll have more guacamole than you can imagine. Look at next year's fruit set, just all over the place. Look at all those little babies. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you're growing. Let me know what avocado trees have worked well for you. And how do you protect your trees from the high heat and all this sun? Please like and subscribe.